I'm a 19-year-old junior at Ohio State, living in one of the campus dorms right off High Street. I've always been pretty independent, had a job since high school. Never really relied on rides unless I absolutely had to. One Thursday in late October, I got out of class early and decided to hit the Target. That's just a 10-minute walk from campus. It was already dark by 7 p.m., but the area is usually busy enough that I never really felt unsafe. I had a list in my head. Snacks, detergent, a new fuzzy blanket because our dorm's heat never works right. The place was busy, but not packed. I remember pushing my cart toward the cleaning aisle when I first noticed the guy. He looked about mid-30s, average height, short buzz cut, wearing a black hoodie and cargo pants. But the thing that stood out was this blue Velcro wrist brace on his left hand. At first, I thought maybe he'd just gotten out of some kind of work accident. But then I started noticing how often he adjusted it. Like every few seconds he'd rub it, twist his hand like it was bothering him. But it almost looked exaggerated. He kept showing up wherever I went. At first the laundry section, then again in the snacks aisle, and once more near seasonal decor. I even remember turning down one aisle, realizing I forgot popcorn. And when I turned back, he was just standing at the end like he was waiting to see where I'd go. He didn't have a cart, not even a basket, just his hands in his hoodie pocket and that brace. I brushed it off at first. Maybe we were just on the same errand loop. But then he followed me to checkout. I picked lane 4. He got in line behind me with nothing in his hands. That was when I really started feeling it. My stomach dropped. I paid quickly and power walked out the front. I didn't even look back until I hit the crosswalk, and when I did, I didn't see him. I told myself I was just being paranoid. I crossed the street to where my car was parked, just a beat-up Honda Civic tucked under one of those flickering street lamps. I loaded my stuff in the trunk, slammed it shut, and as I turned to get in the driver's seat, I caught a glimpse of someone stepping out from behind the row of bushes near the dorm sidewalk. He wasn't walking fast, just sort of angling the same direction I was. I drove around the block once before heading back to the dorm. When I finally got to my building and keyed in, I looked behind me again. Nothing. No one. The front area was clear. I made my way up the stairs to my floor, still tense but trying to laugh it off. Half an hour later, I was in the shared bathroom brushing my teeth when I heard 3 hard knocks on my dorm door. I froze. Nobody knocks like that. Not unless they're delivering something, and even then they usually just leave it. I stayed silent. Then I heard it. Low voice. Just loud enough to carry. "Hey, you in there?" I didn't recognize it. It wasn't a hallmate. I didn't say anything. Just tiptoed over, dead silent, and crouched to look under the door. Shadow blocking the hall light. Then nothing. Footsteps walking off slow. My phone was still in my room. I grabbed it, locked the door again, and called campus security. They actually came pretty quick. Did a walkthrough, asked if I recognized the guy. I said no, but mentioned the wrist brace. They said they'd checked the cameras and told me to call again if anything else happened. Next morning, I found something under my door. A plain white business card. No name, no logo. Just one line of garbled text that looked like lorem ipsum and the word Target printed in the corner. I showed it to my RA. He passed it to the campus police, who basically shrugged. Without a name or threat, there wasn't much they could do. I asked about the security footage. They said no one matching that guy's description was caught on camera, not even in the Target lot. I switched dorm rooms the week after, started only going out in groups after dark. I never saw the guy again, but I still think about the way he kept twisting that brace, like it wasn't there to support his wrist, just to make him memorable enough to haunt me. used to take the city bus home from work every evening. I was living in Minneapolis at the time, working retail at a mall just outside downtown. I didn't have a car then, just couldn't afford it. So my usual routine was catching the 10 line around 9:40 p.m. after closing shift. I'd transfer once downtown, then ride another 20 minutes until I was 2 blocks from my apartment. That route got quiet after 9. Buses half full, most people keeping to themselves. It was predictable until the week that guy started showing up. First time I noticed him, it was a Tuesday. He was standing at the stop outside the same mall I worked at, around 9:30. Older guy, maybe 50s, thin build, gray jacket zipped up high, knit beanie pulled low. He was holding a reusable grocery bag with something bulky inside. Nothing weird about that. What stood out was how he watched each bus that passed without even trying to board. The one I got on, he didn't even flinch when the doors opened. Just stood there holding that bag and looking past me. I figured he was waiting for someone. But then, the next night, Wednesday, I saw him again. Same stop, same bag, same jacket, and again. He didn't get on. I kept my distance, but this time I turned slightly to look back as the bus pulled away. He was staring at me. I told myself maybe he just happened to live nearby, maybe he was waiting for a different route. It was a busy area. Still, it bothered me. Thursday night, he wasn't at the first stop. I exhaled, figured that was that. But when I got off downtown from my usual transfer, my stomach dropped. He was there, leaning against the bus shelter by Nicolette and 7th, same damn grocery bag dangling from his wrist. No expression. Didn't approach me. Just shifted slightly when I moved. He wasn't even pretending to wait for a bus this time. He was angled toward the street like he was watching the traffic, but I could tell he was clocking me from the side. I stood under the street lamp trying not to stare. When my transfer pulled up, I got on fast, went straight to the back, and looked through the window. He didn't follow. Just stood there again, motionless. The next few nights, he vanished. I told a coworker about it. She joked that maybe he was a ghost or something, but I hated that kind of stuff. I didn't think he was supernatural. I thought he was real and watching. That Sunday night, I picked up an extra shift. It was snowing lightly when I left the store, and I had this weird anxiety the whole walk to the stop. Sure enough, as I approached, I saw a figure sitting under the shelter. I slowed down. It was him. This time, he had the bag on the bench beside him, folded over so I couldn't see what was inside. His eyes flicked toward me as I got closer, then back down to the pavement. I turned away and walked past the stop like I forgot something, circled around the strip mall and came back from the other side. When the bus showed up, I timed it so I stepped on right as the doors opened. He didn't move, but this time I swear he smirked. That's when I stopped taking the bus for a while. I begged rides from coworkers, used my last $30 on an Uber one night. For almost a week, I avoided the route completely. But I couldn't keep that up forever. One night, about a week and a half later, I had no choice. No one could give me a ride, and I didn't have money left for Uber. I waited until the last possible minute, then caught the late bus around 10. The first leg was quiet. No sign of him at the mall stop. No sign of him downtown either. I let my guard down. But when I got off at my usual stop 2 blocks from my apartment, something felt off. It was a cold night. Windy, snow packed into the curbs. I was walking fast, cutting through a residential stretch with mostly duplexes and quiet yards. That's when I heard footsteps, just soft crunching behind me. I didn't want to turn. I told myself it was another commuter, a neighbor, anything. But the footsteps matched my pace exactly. I crossed to the other side of the street. So did they. I stopped walking. So did they. I finally turned around and I swear my throat closed. It was him, Beanie, gray jacket, and that same grocery bag swinging slightly in his hand. We locked eyes. He didn't look surprised. Just stood there like he'd been waiting for me to notice. I didn't say a word. I bolted, full sprint, the last half block to my apartment. I had my key out already. Shaking so hard I dropped it once. Got inside, slammed the door, locked it, and shoved a chair up against the knob. I stood in the dark, listening for footsteps outside. Nothing. But when I finally peeked through the curtain, I saw him across the street, standing still under the street lamp. Same bag. I called 911. The operator stayed on with me until the cops arrived 15 minutes later. By then, he was gone. They did a sweep of the area, asked for a description, but said without a threat or trespassing they couldn't do much. I ended up staying with a friend for the next 2 weeks. When I finally moved back, I changed my routine. I started saving up for a car. I never saw the man again, never found out what was in the bag. But I never forgot how calmly he followed me, like it was planned, like he knew every stop I used, every turn I took. I used to run every morning before school. It was part of my routine. Wake up at 5:45, stretch, earbuds in, then hit the trail near our neighborhood by 6. I live in a suburb outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. The trail isn't secluded or anything. It runs alongside a few residential blocks, a public park, and wraps around a small retention pond. Usually I'd see maybe 2 or 3 other people that early. Most were other regulars. An older couple walking their dog, a middle-aged guy in full running gear who always nodded but never talked. I felt safe. That changed in early March of my senior year. First morning I saw him. I figured he was just another runner. He was standing near the park entrance, wearing a black hoodie and sweatpants, stretching his calves. But something felt off. He wasn't wearing running shoes, just those flat canvas sneakers that would kill your feet on a jog. I ran past him without making eye contact. About a quarter mile in, I glanced over my shoulder and saw him jogging about 30 feet behind me. I sped up a little, not enough to look suspicious. He didn't close the gap, just stayed that same distance. After I finished my usual 2-mile loop, I turned to head home. He stopped, just stood near the trail marker panting, staring at the ground. Next morning, same thing. This time he was already on the trail, walking slowly. I passed him early, but a few minutes later he was behind me again. Same distance, same pace. It became a pattern. Every time I sped up, he sped up. Every time I slowed down, so did he. But he never passed me. Never once. By the 3rd day, I was actively checking behind me every few minutes. I mentioned it to my mom that night, and she told me to switch up my schedule or bring pepper spray. But I didn't want to admit I was scared. Friday morning, I left my house at the usual time. Earbuds in, but no music playing. When I hit the trail, it was still dark out, just barely that pre-sunrise blue. I didn't see him at first. But a few minutes in, I heard shoes behind me. I turned. There he was. Closer this time. Maybe 20 feet back. I picked up my pace. I don't usually sprint during my runs, but I pushed it. I stayed on the loop instead of taking my usual turnoff near the pond. When I finally rounded the last corner back toward the road, I risked a glance back. He wasn't there. I slowed to a walk, trying to catch my breath. That's when I heard it. The crunch of gravel just behind me. I spun around. He was 5 feet away, stopped mid-step, not breathing hard at all. I didn't say anything, just bolted across the road into someone's yard, cut between 2 houses, and ran straight home through the back alley. I didn't take the trail again for over a month. When I finally did, he was gone. I never saw him again. I reported it to the school's resource officer, but they said unless he made contact or trespassed, there wasn't much they could do. I still run. but never before sunrise, and never without turning around every 100 steps.